Well, it's Friday morning and I just realized I didn't have a video ready for this week. And I normally post on Saturday mornings and I'll probably go ahead and do that. I'm going to try to make this sort of a one cut so I can do it really fast because I do have a ton of stuff that I'm trying to get done. I just got completely involved in getting these floors sanded this week and man, they've turned out really good, but it was a struggle. I'll take you around and show you real quick. Get some light on here for you. So you can see here, got the floors completely sanded, man. It made a huge difference. They look really good, but it was a struggle. There were tons of scratches. I don't have any real light in here in the bedroom, but we'll come in here and let's see if I can find my light. So I do have all the walls painted. I know the light's really horrible in here right now. It's really hard to see the colors. So let me come back out here to the living room where the light's a little better. The sun's starting to come up. There were a couple of already broken tiles over here. So these were already broken. And then of course I hit it with the sander and broke it off the floor. I was gonna replace all these tiles anyway, as you can see. Here's the remnants of my sanding. Get over here so you can see. I don't know how many sheets are in there. I'm going to count them though. So here's the dining room. I've got it painted and ready to go. After I got things painted, I decided I needed an accent wall, so I did this wall in sort of a pumpkin orange. So I was trying to avoid using a drum sander, the belt sander, the regular floor sanders, and it just wasn't happening. I had this oscillatory one over here. I'll get it for you to show you. So the old coating, which turned out to be shellac, was just balling up and just plugging up the sheet. This sheet there it's in perfectly good shape, except that what would happen is these little balls of finish would just build up. And of course lift the sheet up off the floor and then you were done. And I went through 4 sheets in the bedroom and it was only like 20% done, and I could just see that this was going to be a huge problem. Not to mention that apparently because of everybody staying at home, there's been a huge rush on the renting of this equipment and use of the sandpaper. And I have noticed this before, like at Home Depot and other places. You can't hardly find sandpaper. It's just been really hard to get a hold of. I guess there's a lot of DIYers doing projects at home. So the long short story is that the 36 grit, which is what this was, and which is normally what you start with when you're working on a floor like this, it wasn't even hardly touching it. And I could just see it was going to be days and days of sanding and very expensive. So I went to the 20 grit. This stuff is super rough, and it was actually working pretty decent. You know, it was stripping up the finish, but again, it was balling up and getting these balls of old finish on it. And again, it was taking forever. This machine is not real aggressive, so I had to throw in the towel and get the drum sander, which I've already taken back. So the drum sander is much more aggressive and a lot more work, and I was trying to avoid that. I think I probably mentioned that. I've got itchy eyes this morning from all this dust that's been in the air. But I was trying to avoid using the drum sander, and I was trying to avoid getting too aggressive because you can make a real mess out of the floor with the drum sander. Well, and I'll show you an example of it. A bigger issue is that if you see right here, these stripes, that's from the floor being refinished before. And that's from the drum basically burning into the wood because it wasn't done properly. I suspect it was probably homeowner done. And so it's going to be a real pain. These floors have been refinished before, and the person who did it, I don't know who it was, sometime in the history of the house, they had done a horrible job, and there was all these waves and everything in the floor. I'll put a little picture of it here from the video I'm shooting on how to refinish hardwood floors. Anyway, so I basically was resolved to the fact that to get the finish off, to do it correctly, and to correct all the problems that were in the floor, I was going to have to go with the drum sander. I had no choice. I didn't want to get real aggressive with it, so I thought, well, I'll just use some like 60 grit paper. And this is what I ended up with. You can just see this is just full. And this is 2 passes, up and back, in the bedroom. And this paper was destroyed. This is all the surface. This is the finish off the flooring. And of course, it just plugged up the paper. So again, I was looking at hundreds of sheets of paper to do this floor. And the problem is, again, I couldn't get 36 grit. I did finally get some. The company I'm renting from, Mountain West Rentals here in Pocatello, they've been great to work with. Manny, thumbs up, dude. You've done a great job for me. They found me 2 sheets at their other store in Pocatello here. It's actually technically in Chubby, of 36 grit. And that's what we have here. And the 36 grit was working really good, but they only found 2 sheets. And you'll notice from this one, I got about 1.5 passes out of this one. And because I loaded the sheet wrong on the drum sander, it blew up. This is an expensive lesson. I think these things are about $8 a piece, something like that. So, and then so I was down to 1 sheet of that. So I called him. I said, dude, you got me over a barrel here. I need 36 grit. You got to help me out. So they got some paper down from Idaho Falls. They have a store up there. But in the interim, he sent over this 20 grit. And this stuff is super aggressive, and it really left deep grooves in the floor after I was running the belt sander on the drum sander, which made a lot of extra work. But man, it stripped everything right off. There was no issues with it plugging up, as you can see. There's a few balls of that finishing here, but man, it stripped it right up, but it left the floors really rough. So the next day, I got more 36 grit, and so what I ended up doing was I did all the floors with 20 grit. Then I had to go back and take all the scratches from the 20 grit out with the 36 grit. And then I went to 60 grit. I've got a better piece of this, but I went to the 60 grit to take all the scratches out from the 36 grit. And that's where I'm at today. Now, I've gone around and I've touched most of the edges. The nice thing about this plate sander, or oscillating sander, is you can get up pretty close to the wall. You gotta be careful because the plate here will hit the wall and kind of bang it up. But it's down below where the baseboard will be, so it's hidden. It's not a big deal. But I did gouge up the wall in a couple places in the bedroom. I have to go back in and touch it up and finish and paint it again. But you know, it's a small price to pay. You know, I was kind of on the fence as to whether or not I do the floors first and then paint, or I paint and do the floors. I did it with paint, then do the floors. It is what it is. It probably won't be a big deal. I'll probably just walk around with some water and a damp rag, and I'll just wipe all the walls down real quick, which will get all the dust off of them and get me ready to do what I, get ready. And that'll get me ready to move in. So that's kind of what I've been working on this week. I did finish up with the painting. I finished on Tuesday with the painting, and then started on the floors Wednesday. Wednesday was kind of a wasted day. I didn't really go get, I didn't throw in the towel till like 2 o'clock on Wednesday with respect to, giving up on this as far as stripping the finish off the floors. No, it is what it is, I have done a floor refinishing, but it was 30 years ago on a house in Idaho Falls. So I probably forgot a lot of stuff. And at that point in time, you could get whatever sandpaper you needed. And so I started with 36 grit and everything worked just fine. So I've learned some lessons on this one. So right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get rid of some pet stains. I've got a little experiment going over here. Let me show you. So if you look right here, this is a pet stain. And what I've done is I created it with my favorite borax laundry, the borax laundry additive, I'll get it right. I just created the solution with some hot water and some borax. And what I'm trying to do is just bleach the stain out. I'm gonna leave this sit for a while and see how it turns out. I'm not I'm thinking it's probably going to be what it is. It's just going to be patina. That's what we'll call it. This is patina. This is the patina on the floor. But we're going to let that go for a while and see how it does. I don't have any plans to do staining until late today, so I should be able to dry it out. I'll put a fan over here in a little bit if I need to dry the floor out. But it doesn't look like it's probably going to do much. I might also go get some 35% hydrogen peroxide. You can get that. It's called food grade hydrogen peroxide. You can get it from health food stores, and it's really pretty good stuff. So hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. That'll take this stain out. Otherwise, it's patina. It'll just stay where it is. So my next steps are going to be, I have to go around and I have to do the perimeter of the floors. Now I did get the plate sander up close to the wall as good as I could, but I'm going to take my little orbital hand sander with some 40 grit paper on it and walk around here and strip up around the perimeter of the rooms as best I can. I should be able to get back to where it's good enough that the trim will cover any problems that are up close to the edge of the walls. Told you I was itchy. Then I'll hit it again with 60 grit. I'm going to put 60 grit on that orbital sander, plate sander, and I'm going to go through the whole house and I'm going to orbital sand everything. Then I'll come back and I'll fill it. So I've got some what they call trowelable filler. So I'll just put some filler on the floor and trowel it around, and that'll have to dry up, and that's when I'll go in and edit this video and get it ready and get it posted up to YouTube sometime today. Then I'll come back in, I'll sand again to sand down the filler. And then hopefully I'll either stain tonight or first thing tomorrow. And stain will probably have to dry for, like 6 hours, I'm not sure. But stain will probably have to dry for a while. Then I'll come back and I'll probably sand again really lightly. And then I should get my first coat of poly on. I'm thinking probably, keep your fingers crossed, sometime on Saturday afternoon I should get my first coat of poly down. Then I'll let it set for 24 hours. I'll come back and I'll sand it really lightly. Put a second coat on, let it set for 12 hours. I might have said 24 before, but I think it needs to dry for 12 hours. And then I should be good to go. I'm only going to go with 2 coats. That was the recommendation I got from the people I got the floor poly from. I'm going to use an oil-based poly versus a water-based poly. I think the oil-based is a little bit more durable. Yeah, I have to clean up with mineral spirits, but that's not a big deal. I'm only about to, it'll be a week, and then I'll head back and get my furniture. I'll probably spend 3 or 4 days with Pop, and then it'll take me 2 days to drive back out here. It's about 1,350 miles from his place back out here to Idaho. That's going to be a 2-day drive in a 20-foot U-Haul. And then probably should be moving in, would be 2 weeks from tomorrow. So tomorrow will be Saturday, August 30th, 29th. What is today? I don't even know. So tomorrow will be Saturday, August 29th. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'll be moved in. So if you're not subscribed, be sure and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the notification bell. There's going to be a whole series of videos coming up. I probably have 20 to 25 videos that I'll be producing around the Mid-Century Ranch home renovation project that I've been working on. Detailed how-tos. Some of it's just going to be vlogging. Some of it I've had camera issues. It's the life of a single solo YouTuber that I don't have anybody shooting video. Sometimes I'm thinking of video and I'm not. It is what it is. But I do appreciate it if you would subscribe. If you like the video, give me that thumbs up. Questions or comments, make them below. Those are always welcome. Your support of my Amazon store is overwhelming, and I do appreciate everybody that does support me on my Amazon store, as well as watch my videos. But for now, I need a cup of coffee. I got to get some motivation to get started on the project. So thanks for watching. I sure do appreciate it. Till we get together next time, peace.